1939, Glastonbury, Connecticut. Chickens are ripped apart. Farmers are swearing something huge is stalking their barns, and neighbors are jolted awake by a scream that didn't sound like any New England animal. The press called it the Glawackus. Part cat, part dog, part whatever nightmare Lego set Mother Nature cobbled together. Was it a mountain lion, an escaped zoo animal, or just the weirdest case of small town hysteria ever put in print? Tonight, we're chasing the beast that is equal parts terrifying and totally fucking weird. I'm Sean.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Kathy.
This is Weirder After Dark. Kathy, Chris.
What's up?
Do you know what episode this is?
No.
It's fucking episode number 40.
40?
40.
Wow.
We have 40 episodes.
We have more than 40 technically, but the 40 standard episodes. I find it so interesting that at this point it feels like 33 of those fucking episodes were in Connecticut. And we're going back again, guys. We're back in fucking Connecticut.
We do spend a lot of time in Connecticut.
The weird shit per capita in Connecticut. It's a small state.
Not just a small state. It really doesn't stand out other than being fucking weird.
I forget that Connecticut is part of New England.
Is it? That's a good question, right?
I mean, Maine, you got a lot of wilderness. You got a lot of trees.
Yep.
You got vacation land.
Sounds like
Vermont's beautiful.
Love
Yep.
Vermont.
Rolling hills, New Hampshire, the grandeur of the White Mountains, the presidential range, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the United States. And then you have Connecticut. It's just kind of being Connecticut.
And
Don't forget Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, yeah, well, fuck Rhode Island. Rhode
Yeah.
Island doesn't count.
Does the Connecticut River go down to Connecticut? Is that why?
I hope so.
Oh, God.
I hope so. Don't get me on geography right now. I hope so.
Like, it does? No, seriously, does it?
I can confirm the Connecticut River does go all the way down into Connecticut and rips right into the ocean. And it does split Vermont and New Hampshire, and it comes all the way down from Quebec.
We're a podcast about New England that knows nothing about geography
That's
of New
okay.
England.
That's
great.
okay.
Yeah.
But you know what we do know a lot about? Cryptids. And that's what the fuck
Yep.
we're going to be talking
Yeah.
about
Let's
here
do it.
today is some fucking cryptids. And this story, y'all, it's a fucking weird one. It's going to have us thinking a little bit about media
Okay.
and the role that media plays in shaping our beliefs and shaping how we might maybe be open-minded to something that might be fucking ridiculous or real. Who knows? But
Sean, I just left work. I'm done thinking.
no. Buckle in. We're going for a fucking
I
ride.
got to think for another hour. I'm going to take tomorrow from work.
You better. You're going to need it. You're going to need it after this one. It's January 1939. America is restless. The Great Depression has eased but not vanished. Unemployment is still at highs. Factories are shuttered to a complete stop. And every morning, newspapers are carrying headlines about Hitler's warning that war in Europe is no longer an if, but a when. Even here in New England, the mood's grim. The fall before the Great New England Hurricane of 1938 has killed more than 400 people, leaving farms, towns in tatters. The countryside's brittle and cold, and it's buried in snow and heavy with anxiety. People are desperate for anything to break through the gloom. Hell, just months earlier, Americans have been shaken by Orson Welles' War of the Worlds radio broadcast, a Halloween prank that convinced listeners aliens had literally fucking landed in New Jersey, and families, Chris, Kathy, literally left their homes certain that an alien invasion had begun.
You're painting a picture. There was a time when people were on edge.
Yeah.
I think most people listen to the radio for news, right?
Yeah, at that
this
time,
is
yeah.
serious reporting. And
Yeah.
you hear something like that, you catch it, you don't realize it's just a story.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people kind of lost their shit.
It's hard to put yourselves in the shoes of someone from 1939 being in 2025 right now. But you can think like, maybe it's not the radio for us. But imagine on our cell phones, you know those emergency alerts that come through the government? Imagine that going off and saying emergency alert, alien invasion, take cover now. Like, I believe that probably,
I
right?
would think hackers are fucking with my phone.
Oh, really?
'Cause that's
You
what
still
I would
wouldn't
do.
believe it?
Yeah, I still wouldn't believe it.
Oh. By 1939, as we're talking about, the country's primed to believe in invaders and monsters and things just beyond the safety of their own four walls. And maybe that's what made Glastonbury, Connecticut, the perfect place, the perfect time, and the perfect stage. Because in January 1939, when the tracks appeared in the snow and cries, screams echoed from the woods, people believed. And what do they believe in? The Glawackus.
The what?
The Glawackus.
The Glawackus?
I've never heard of this one.
No.
Well, let's dive in then. Let's find out a little bit more about it. Our story starts with reports from local farmers in and around Glastonbury, Connecticut. Reports of a strange animal stalking their livestock just continuously started pouring in. And like the war brewing in Europe, fear didn't take long to turn into bloodshed. Chickens and other animals were found dead, torn apart in ways that didn't match the typical work of a fox, a bear, or a dog. But if it wasn't a fox or a bear, what was it? A wolf? A mountain lion? We know New England has its fair share of predators, but none of them fit the description that we were seeing of these animals being torn to fucking shreds and just left behind.
And these reports are from farmers who are used to dealing with the local predators.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a little bit more interesting than somebody from the city seeing a chicken pulled apart.
Yeah. First off, I don't want to see chicken pulled apart, period.
No.
I don't want to see that shit.
No.
Yeah.
And then usually when
I like pulled chicken on a bun with barbecue sauce.
Yeah, but not in the wild.
Not in the wild.
Not in the wild.
Oh, God. But no, like usually like when another animal kills another animal, it's for its food. This sounds like it's just kind of killing it.
Just shredding shit.
Yeah.
The animals did go missing too, and they weren't all just shredded and left. Some of them were torn apart, eaten, stuff like that. So it was kind of a mix. But the whole idea that someone like just shredded and left is kind of like something's doing it, it's doing it for fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Which is terrifying.
Just like a really angry bear. As long as you can kill shit.
Had a bad day at work. It's like, fuck you, chicken. As days went on, rumors spread. Whatever this mystery creature was, reports were that it was bigger than a dog, but it moved stealthily, like a cat. Even stranger, they could hear it at night. But it didn't howl like a dog or a coyote. It screamed. A scream so loud and fierce that it tore through the heavy New England air, and it rattled even some of the hardest farmers. It was a sound they'd never heard before, and it shook them to their core. And you can imagine hearing all these things, and as they're escalating, the fear, it's building. Animals killed, animals missing. Some of the evidence you have is just terrifying fucking screams coming from the woods at night. That is definitely how horror movies start, right?
Yep.
Like, how could you not be terrified if you're inside this community experiencing this? And it wasn't long before the press took notice. The Hartford Courant, America's oldest continuously published newspaper, ran the first story on January 15th, 1939. And it ran with the headline, "Safari Treks, Wild Beast to Stalk, Gets One Fox an 8-Mile Walk." The piece basically just describes how a hunting party spent the entire day searching for Glastonbury's mysterious creature that stalked the town at night. But the hunting party came back with nothing more than one unlucky fox, poor guy, and sore legs from their 8-mile trek in the forest. With questions pouring in pretty much nonstop, the Courant started to speculate on what possible culprits it could be. Could it be a mountain lion, Canadian lynx? Some even speculated that it could be a panther. There had, in fact, actually been a couple of rumors earlier in the year that there was a panther roaming the woods of Vermont. However, the Courant quickly dismissed each. The paper cited a book, Mammals of Connecticut, published by the State Geological and Natural History Survey, which ruled out mountain lions, crossed off the Canadian lynx because they're super easily identified, and called the panther story a complete fucking hoax that was going on in Vermont. But one theory the Courant did float was the idea that perhaps it was some exotic animal that escaped from a zoo. We got to remember, we just had that huge hurricane that ripped through the year before and shredded the entire Northeast.
I was also thinking too, like back then you had a lot of those like traveling circuses that would go through. Like I know down in Florida, they have like panthers and stuff. And they said that that's where a lot of them originated from was like the circuses coming through. And then like the animals would have litters and then they would just like let them go or they would escape.
My God, imagine like an elephant just being like, let go. Good luck, bud. Actually, there is a story. I haven't researched it. It's in New England, but an elephant got brought over from Europe and it came off of a boat and they fed the elephant alcohol and it ripped through the town and destroyed the town.
Yes.
Like, we need to do that story because that sounds so fucking cool.
Yes,
I started looking into that story and you just told it.
That's it. That's
There's
the
not
story.
much I'll say. Yeah, it's a great story.
All right,
Drunk elephant destroys town.
You're getting 2 stories today, y'all. You're welcome. As the January snow piled higher, so did the stories. By January 18th, the Courant returned with another article. This one with a headline as colorful as the beast: "Guffaws of Glastonbury, Glawackus greet gloomy gang of gunners." And that is a fucking tongue twister, if I gotta say so.
Yeah, very well done saying that.
Yeah,
by the way.
Thank you.
Like the headline titles, it's a newspaper. newspaper is coming up with.
Oh,
this
anything
is
to grab the
clever.
attention,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Like the first one was almost like poetic.
Yeah.
And this one's just like a tongue twister, get you going.
Yeah. And I know there's some people out there that were thinking like me, like, what the fuck is a guffaw?
Yeah, that
I'm
was
like,
a good
what is a
that?
fucking guffaw? Apparently, it is just some tiny language that means a belly laugh that you can't hold back.
Huh.
So if we reread it with that context, it's just like belly laughs at Glastonbury as the Glawackus greet gloomy gang of gunners. So basically, you can see they're kind of making fun of the situation in
Yeah.
a way, right?
But there's people are hunting this thing at this point.
Yeah, they're out in the woods with fucking guns, going on treks, exactly. And there's a second G word in there that we might not identify. It is the term Glawackus. The newspaper, the article, the Current, it actually explained that term like this. It said, the Glawackus is a scientific term. The root words, gla for Glastonbury, where the creature roamed, whack for the wacky-ass conversations people were having about it, and us to make it sound more Latin and more official.
It could have fooled me. I always thought it was something Latin.
Yeah, right. And literally, that's what it said word for word in the article. So, like, I fucking love that. Like, they're kind of trolling a little bit here, which I love a good
And people
troll.
are eating it up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally eating it up at this point in time. The same article also offered the very first published descriptions of the beast. And it wasn't super in-depth, but it read, it's described that the Glawackus as having a body larger than a dog and a cat-like head. So not a ton of description, but that's weird still. Over the next few days, the story of the Glawackus absolutely exploded around Glastonbury and neighboring towns. And like any gray area headline, it split people right down the fucking middle. Some believed, and those who did, they grabbed their rifles and they tromped through the woods ready to join the hunt. Others laughed it off as a hoax, a ridiculous local joke, like a fucking cat-headed dog. What the fuck, Ralph?
It's like cat dog.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, I was totally getting those flashbacks to, it was like, lone in the world, the little cat dog. Yeah, if
Cat
you know, you
dog.
know. Yeah. But even the Current didn't quite know what to make of everything. On one hand, they were giving it oxygen. On the other hand, they were mocking it, especially by saddling it with the ridiculous name, the Glawackus. That back and forth, monster or joke, this is what seemed to just keep the story alive. On January 19th, just 4 days after its first article on the creature, the Current ran a headline that must have floored every single believer. It read, Archer bags Glastonbury Glawackus. Now, I want to read you a piece of this article because it's kind of fucked up how they just like start making fun of the situation, but it's pure fucking gold as well. So I'm going to read this here. What was reported to be the Glawackus, Glastonbury's mystery animal, strung up at Kinney and Tyron service station in Glastonbury Wednesday, allegedly shot with an arrow by Stanley N. Scheibels. Hundreds who saw it were torn between two questions. One, is it the real Glawackus? Or two, is it a goofy story to end all goofy stories about the animal? The beast in the service station, they claimed, was a side-hill goofus.
What is a side-hill goofus?
I'm glad you asked. Let's continue on. The Current went on in tongue-in-cheek with the following description. It had the head of a buck deer. Burlap covered its entire body. It wore trousers, had a whisk-broom tail. It wears shoes and rubbers, and it's known to eat bait for fishermen's hooks. Still, it has other characteristics. Its right legs are shorter than its left because it always walks in circles around hills. Sometimes when frightened, it suddenly spills. And just in case you thought this might have been a serious description of an animal, the Current continued on by adding a poem. And I would like to read the poem to you.
They're so creative.
Yeah, the poem reads, it has a head quite like a deer and frisks away the men that come near. Its tail like a weather vane, and it wears a raincoat in the rain. It treks and treks around the hills and sometimes takes awful spills. Its feet are shod against the cold, but this one's shoes are getting old. Scheibels, the guy who shot it, says it's just a jinx and not a common woodland lynx.
Does Dr. Seuss work for this newspaper?
Yeah.
Why don't we have news reporters that write like this anymore?
Right? Like, this is a real published fucking article in the oldest newspaper in America.
So they're not taking the story seriously at this point.
Clearly, they're not. And I want us to imagine the people of Connecticut sitting at their breakfast tables reading this. Some must have been groaning. Some probably spitting out their coffee laughing because they think it's a fucking joke too. And others probably pissed because the reality is some people truly believe that they saw the Glawackus. And hell, others, some of the farmers, they had dead dogs, dead animals, missing animals. They didn't find this fucking funny.
Yeah, this is a little disrespectful at that point, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's easy to laugh about it, but you forget that there is that side of the story, that there are actual farmers and people that are having their animals taken.
This is real to them.
Yeah. And a lot of them use the livestock to make money, to sell like the meat and eggs and all that stuff. So
yeah. But as their story continues on, by January 20th, even Connecticut politicians were in on the fun. The Current ran a piece titled Bill Introduced. In this article outlined how lawmakers supposedly were proposing that the state treasury funds be redirected to preserve Glastonbury's parks. That sounds nice, right?
Yeah.
But why do they want to do it? Well, they wanted to protect the land for the scary Glawackus.
Fair.
So the Current here seems to have picked a side officially. It was a joke, a punchline at the expense of the farmers, or at least that's what they thought. Just a day later, a little one fucking day later, January 21st, the Current published a very different kind of story. A story headlined, Goat Disappears, Probably Victim of Glastonbury's Elusive Glawackus.
So they're just flipping sides, like you flip a pancake.
Every fucking day, they're picking different lanes
This
here.
is so weird. Like, it's a joke, or they're taking it seriously, or don't know which side of they want to be on, which side will sell more papers.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I think that's exactly what they're doing.
Well, you're hitting on where I'm going. So suddenly it's not silly poems or, oh my God, we found a side hill goofus, that's so pretty funny.
So good.
I gotta appreciate that. The article described livestock again being attacked, dogs mauled, and people again hearing bone-chilling screams echoing through the woods at night. Even a respected deacon from Buckingham Congregational Church even gave a first-hand description, and he described the creature as 4 feet long, a little over 2 feet high, with a cat-like head and a long tail, brown in color, and claimed that the general appearance was that of a slinking cat, but much larger than any wild cat in New England.
This is so strange.
Right?
Yeah, because a deacon is a pretty important position and a man of authority, and not somebody you make fun of in a newspaper, but one day earlier, they were writing poems making fun of everybody.
And now they've got this trusted voice in the community coming through, putting his
reputation online.
Exactly. I don't know. This is like a complete 180, right? I think this all of a sudden now with this deacon on the line, this gives the Glawackus some credibility, right? Like jokes can't just undo what this community leader brought to the table. That same article even claimed that Glastonbury selectman Lewis W. Stevenson received letters all the way from Lincoln, Nebraska, warning that a similar beast had been on the hunt there as well.
Nebraska?
Nebraska. That's right. This had already spread this story to fucking Nebraska.
Wow.
And remember, 1939, right?
This is going viral.
Yeah. It's spreading like wildfire, and reporters even across New England are just starting to randomly show up in Glastonbury, hoping to catch a glimpse or a beat of this mysterious beast. So this lack of back and forth between real story and joke, it's getting difficult to decipher with every fucking line, because even in the same article, the Current admits that the state game warden examined one of the supposedly Glawackus killed dogs, and it was clear to the game warden that it was not killed by another animal. It was shot in the fucking head, which is sad and depressing. But again, the same one article is flipping back and forth.
Kind of sounds like the battle between Fox News and MSNBC.
Same article.
Same article, two completely different stories.
Oh, yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Then, January 22nd, again, one day later, the Current doubles down with more firsthand sightings. Two hunters, Joseph Bonvaleur and Rhoda Herrick, swore they had seen a creature while hunting. Bonvaleur described it as a black, powerful beast and was certain it was a panther. Herrick disagreed on the color. He called it dark and tawny, but otherwise their description lines up. Both witnesses said the animal was about 3 feet long, 2 feet tall, lining up with their previous accounts.
Yeah, that's what the deacon said.
Yep, with a long tail longer than any local wildcat, and described the creature as having a smooth gait and cat-like head.
Yeah, this is sounding like a black panther or a mountain lion at this point, right?
Could be, yeah. Whatever it is, a lot of the sightings are seeming very similar, right? Like they're describing something consistent, which adds, again, more credibility that something's out there. Bonvaleur added one more eerie detail. Even though his hunting crew desperately wanted to chase after the Glawackus, right? Imagine the allure and the fame that comes with killing the beast that's haunting everything. Their dogs that they had on the hunt refused to go after the beast. Instead of hunting it, the dogs just stopped where they were in their tracks and stared at their hunting partners.
Oh, that's interesting. That makes me think of something more exotic because dogs would be used to local prey and what they smell like and would be on the trail.
Yeah. And I just want to throw in too, like if I'm out there with my dog and all of a sudden I'm just like hanging out and all of a sudden it gets fucking scared of something in the woods, that's
I'm
fucking
leaving.
terrifying me.
Yeah, I'm
like,
leaving.
Yeah.
Buckster, our dog, he hears a coyote in the woods, gets down, gets in that stance, he growls, gets that real low voice. But you start the vacuum, he runs and hides. So
yeah, you're right.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Okay, noted. Pouring even more kerosene on this rumor-powered fire, the Current published a map outlining all the recent hunts that were taking place and outlined every single sighting and where it took place. Visitors and locals now had their hands on everything they needed to turn Glastonbury into their very own monster hunt.
Oh, they are encouraging people to go into the woods with guns. That's
Come on down to Glastonbury. Bring your weapons. I'm going to show you where to go hunting.
We going monster hunting.
That's going to turn out well, I'm sure.
Oh, man.
Hey, you know what? There is a successful TV show called
Mountain Monsters?
Mountain Monsters, where they literally are dressed in overalls and like hillbilly hats, and they go out into the woods with their rifles and they shoot into complete darkness looking for Bigfoot. So
I fucking love it.
By the
these
way,
people might have been onto something.
It might be the best show ever made, hands down.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
You've never seen it? You've got to go home and watch it.
He was watching it on Sunday.
It's so good.
I'll have to check it out. Gang, put it on the list.
It's so bad that it's so good.
Oh, man. So we now have this now publicized map. Again, the Current's just pouring kerosene on this whole situation. And it doesn't stop there. The 23rd brought even more eyewitnesses. So, of course, the Current kept fanning the flames. Locals were coming forward, swearing up and down they've seen the Glawackus. Every howl, every scream, every unidentified noise or movement was registered as an official sighting. But for every witness, there were skeptics. One man even told the Current, "I've never seen a Glawackus, but I don't think that's what's going on up there in Glastonbury. I think it's just a couple of lynx. I've seen lynx," which I find funny. And the Current actually went on to roast him by responding, "Of course you've never seen a Glawackus. We literally made it up." Which, again, I love this paper.
I just keep envisioning like the guys in the press room, like with the hats, and they're in the office, like smoking cigarettes and cigars. And,
having their morning brandy.
Yeah, and they're just like, what can we do to just, get these people going?
Yeah. It's like Anchorman.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I've never seen Anchorman.
Really?
Yeah.
Christopher.
I know.
I love Will Ferrell.
That first one's good. The rest of them are not good.
Yeah.
The first one was amazing.
Check out the first one.
Gang, Chris hasn't seen Anchorman. Fucking roast him. Okay.
So ashamed of myself right now.
As you should. As you should be. The constant dance between fear and ridicule was exactly what kept the readers hooked, and the Current knew it. As long as they kept playing both sides, everyone would keep reading and keep eating it up. To them, it didn't actually matter if the Glawackus was real or not. They were selling newspapers like hotcakes, and that's all that really mattered. And the Current wasn't the only one with their eyes set on cashing in. By January 24th, local businesses smelled blood, or maybe dollar signs. L'Oreal Oil, Glawackus Incorporated, Don Chain's Rugs, the Bière Salon, Smith Pearson Fuel and Oil, Clap and Treat Sporting Goods, the Mohican Market, and even Harvey Lewis's Opticians all bought ad space in the Current and slapped the Glawackus name on their products and advertisements.
I love this.
It's so
good.
American.
Yeah. Right? And I'm going to go ahead and I'll make sure to put this image and this whole entire newspaper article on our Instagram, because the entire fucking page is just an ad and it's fucking fantastic. And smack in the center of the page, it has this wild sketch. It shows a beast with the stance and mane of a lion, huge teeth jutting from its mouth, a horn sticking out from its forehead, and an enormous tail and claws like knives. And beneath it, it has a call to arms. And it reads, "Eerie shrieks in the night. Giant footprints giving testimony to an enormous stride. Missing and slaughtered domestic animals. Glimpses of a tremendous wraith-like animal form slinking in the dusk through underbrush and across roads. Memories of fabulous creatures of the past, of Cotton Mather's Glawackus of colonial days. Rumors of escaped lions and tigers, mountain lions, or lynx. What can it be? Is it real? Is it some throwback to the days before civilization? Is it something brought to the earth by men from Mars? The Glawackus must be brought to bay. This peril to Connecticut humanity must be ground to pulp. The hunt must go on. Tally-ho! After the hounds, boys. Never let it be said that Connecticut manhood quailed before the threat of beast or man. Dust off the blunderbuss. Dry out the powder. Crawl into your hunting clothes. Kiss the wife and kiddies goodbye. The hunt is on. The world will cheer the successful Nimrod to the echo. This advertisement is paid by these merchants in the interest of humanity, and then the name of the battle cry, death to the Glawackus.
Oh my God.
I want to go hunt now. I never wanted to kill something. Now I want to go kill something, Sean.
That is a fucking advertisement in this newspaper.
Wow.
How insane is this?
I love that they call the people gullible too.
Oh my God.
Like they write out like just
Nimrods.
say it. Yeah, Nimrods.
Nimrods.
Yeah.
Like
Nimrod is actually going to go out and hunt this.
Yeah. No, I want to show you all just like the image of the beast that was drawn.
Oh my God.
Lord.
And again, this will be on the Instagram.
It literally does
so
look like a lion with like weird claw feet and the horn. And
like,
is that like his tongue hanging out?
Yeah. He's eating
It's got
some
the
like
weird horn.
something.
Yeah, so weird.
Yeah. So like that was their best drawing of what they thought was in the woods. Totally insane.
Whacked.
Yeah. Ooh, I see what you did there. But maybe even crazier. Surrounding that hilarious write-up, even more ads, each more ridiculous than the last. I want to read a couple to you. This one said, be on the guard against the Glawackus. But fear not, ladies, a new fur coat will protect you. And they were selling fur coats. The next one, keep warm this winter, even if the Glawackus prowls, with reliable heating oil.
All right, you're reaching.
Wow.
Yeah, right? Don't let the Glawackus catch you with frizz. Come in for our latest weave and look your best, even when fleeing monsters.
Yeah, that one's good.
That's so good. And lastly, stock up today. Don't get caught hungry if the Glawackus keeps you indoors. Like, these are real fucking ads. These are real businesses. The Glawackus wasn't just a fucking monster anymore. It's marketing gold.
Yeah, the newspaper is making a mint off of this story.
Hands down.
They're going back and forth. They're selling advertisement. They're not going to let this go.
Not at all. Not at all. But we all know this. All hype comes with consequences. Kids in Glastonbury schools couldn't focus. One teacher admitted her class couldn't keep their minds on their lessons. The town hall switchboard was continually lit up like Christmas as residents phoned in every shadow or snapping twig. The police were dispatched over and over and over again, always returning empty-handed with no fucking evidence. And with all these reports, they're being pulled away from real, actual police work, getting to really solve actual fucking crimes that existed. Parents were also terrified. They were even warning their kids not to walk home after dark. And frenzied hunters, as we've already talked about, loaded their rifles and went out in hunting packs of their own, sometimes up to 200 people strong in a pack. And they marched through the woods at night with guns and flashlights, because that can't fucking go wrong.
Hold on.
I was going to say, how many accidental shootings do you think occurred during this time period?
200 guys after stopping at the bar, obviously.
Yep.
With loaded guns at night, hunting an imaginary animal.
That's my point. What are they fucking hunting? What are they even hunting? They don't know. Is it real? Like, holy shit, they're just grabbing guns ready to shoot at anything. Like, this is insane.
Can you imagine being that poor little chipmunk in the woods and you like jump and snap a twig?
155. Like, it's insane.
At what point is the newspaper liable for whipping everybody up and anything that goes on?
That is a great question, not only for then, Chris, for today. But as rumors do, they spiraled. And in some circles, the creature even began to morph. Some locals pictured it a giant cat-like predator, like everything that's reported. Others, though, leaned paranormal. One hunt that got advertised in Indian Oven Cove was advertised with the phrase, intrepid explorers tracking ectoplasmic Glawackus.
Oh, Jesus.
Now
it's glowing?
No, ectoplasmic. Like the
ghosts, apparently.
Ghosts, but seance.
Seance?
Yeah, seances would create ectoplasm as they were going ahead and doing it.
I was thinking, I just totally envisioned like Slimer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
like
you're not
the
wrong.
cartoon, but how we left like green slime around. Like that's what I was thinking.
I mean, honestly, you color it black, you got ectoplasm.
What happens if you shoot a ghost? The bullet goes right through it, I think.
Yeah.
Like, why are they out hunting a ghosts.
We almost found out in the story that you told, Kathy, about the woman's husband who was in prison and she traveled across the United States to do it. Remember the prison guards started shooting the ghosts?
Started shooting.
Yeah,
and then had to explain that he was shooting at a ghost.
As he should.
Is this any fucking better? I don't know. As we can see here, this line between monster and panic and community theater, it's all kind of starting to blur together of what exactly is happening. Like, it's out of control. By February 1939, the story had jumped from Glastonbury gossip to front page news across Connecticut, and the entire United States was picking up this headline. The Glawackus wasn't just a monster in the woods anymore. It was now a phenomenon. Something bigger than tracks in the snow or screams in the night. It was maybe even a mirror of a town or an entire country that was primed to believe in a monster or primed to escape the reality that they were living in and willing to go after whatever distraction was brought to them to pull them away from it. And as we've covered already, most of the coverage, a lot of it at least, wasn't even serious. After those first stories, newspapers were gleefully leaning into hype. Articles shifted from shaky facts as it was to advertising Glawackus dances, to advertising a bunch of people with a stuffed animal in the tree with 17 rifles pointed up at it. Like, these were actual published articles showing that, like, they're out there hunting the Glawackus and it's a stuffed animal.
Oh my God.
It's just like things are just continuously getting out of control. Or even again, like we talked about earlier, politicians, they were getting in on it too. Remember that story about that law about protecting and calling the Glastonbury a preserve? Well, those same politicians came out in February and basically were just like, we could not pass this bill until the Glawackus will show itself. Show yourself, Glawackus. And we're like calling for it to like come out of the woods.
So politicians haven't changed that much.
Not at all. Okay. Not at all. So things are just escalating more and more out of control. On February 24th, maybe one of the last, at least that I could find, serious reports came out. Tracks had been discovered in the woods of Andover, Connecticut. A local, Harold Roberts of East Hartford, scooped up a piece of frozen earth holding a paw print. The print, to him, obviously a member of the cat family. And I do want to call out he was a game warden. So he is capable
he knows
of calling
his
this
stuff.
out.
He can track animals. He knows his animals.
Exactly. Now, this
that adds some credence to the story, right?
Oh, absolutely. Hands down. In this paw print, it measured 4 inches across, but maybe more astonishingly, 4.5 inches deep.
That's a big cat.
That's a lot of weight to go 4.5 inches into the snow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Now I'm like picturing a lion, right?
Something huge, right? Its size convinced Roberts that this was a mountain lion, and it strengthened his belief 100-fold. But the one catch is supposedly mountain lions are no longer in this area. There hasn't been one in a long time.
Yeah, you had mentioned that earlier, but I remember reports coming out last year of a mountain lion being in New Hampshire, and the game warden saying there's no mountain lions, and a picture came out like the next day, and it's like, oh shit, there is a mountain lion.
I swear, I think that happens like every year.
Yeah.
And then, you see pictures, and sometimes it does look like it, though.
Yeah, no, I believe there's mountain lions in the area, even though they say that they're no longer here.
In 2011, a mountain lion was actually killed inside Connecticut. It was hit by a car, and when they were able to go ahead and track its DNA came from out Midwest, and they said the mountain lion had traveled 1,500 miles into Connecticut in 2011.
Wow.
Again, just showing they've got the range.
Is that usually their hunting pattern? Do they travel that far? Or
No,
is this animal
not this
just
far.
lost?
That's what they kind of speculated.
Oh,
like they
interesting.
weren't sure exactly why. Was it starting habitat spreading a little bit? Was it just out here looking for, food and game and just starting to roam? But they claimed that was completely out of the ordinary and shouldn't have happened.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Alpha bears will have an 18-mile hunting zone, and if anything else comes into that zone, another bear, they'll chase them out.
Fuck yeah.
But that's 8 days of walking in this hunting area that they claim as their own.
That's wild.
That is wild that you know that. That's such a random fact.
I know random things. I don't know much,
It's
but
impressive.
I know a lot about nothing.
So we have Roberts, this game warden, right? He just found this track 4 inches wide, 4.5 inches deep. He actually was able to follow the tracks for 2 fucking miles. He said the animal had a stride of about 2.5 feet, and it walked in a perfectly straight line as if it knew exactly where it was going. And I find that interesting too, because cats, the way they do walk, it is almost like straight.
Yeah.
They can walk like that. So again, just doubling down, like this is some type of feline or cryptid that has feline-esque characteristics to it.
And it's not walking around checking things out. It knows exactly where it's going. It's not wasting any energy or time getting there.
Yeah, exactly. So all this is, again, adding just another layer to the lore. But we all know that hysteria, it has a shelf life, right? Like if this is just hysteria, it's eventually going to crack. It's
gonna usually once the next big story comes out, it dies.
And on July 7th, the Current declared the case closed. They wrote an article said, mysterious Glawackus is no more. Animal reported caught and shot in South Glastonbury was huge brown dog.
Huge brown dog?
That's what it says.
Yeah.
That's right. After months of, yeah, right, right. After months of screams in the night, missing livestock, snow-tracked footprints, half-serious headlines, the beast had supposedly been brought down by a farmer's bullet, and the culprit was a mangy brown dog whose prints and behavior, quote-unquote, matched some reports.
Yeah.
To many, this was case closed.
Yeah,
Monster solved.
I mean,
dog screaming in the night.
Yeah,
sure.
dog, sure.
Yeah.
But not everyone bought it, and honestly, rightfully fucking so. I'm not buying that, right? Like, how does a mangy-ass dog explain blood-curdling screams in the night, right?
Like, hey, we invented this story. We can make up the ending.
Anything we want. Anything we want. How the fuck does a mutt look like a panther with a cat-like head? Eyewitnesses swore the Glawackus was far larger, leaner, and darker than any dog. Remember, the two hunters we talked about described it as a powerful black panther. The game warden who tracked the cat prints for 2 miles.
Cat prints.
Cat prints,
Yes.
that he said.
Yeah.
Could this really have been a scraggly pooch? Like, could this have been, Fido?
The game warden doesn't know the difference between a mountain lion and a dog.
Yeah.
He needs to get fired.
That's
I'm
right.
just saying.
That's right. But here's maybe the strangest part. By the end of 1939, the sightings completely stopped, or at least stopped being reported. So maybe it really was a mangy brown dog, or maybe not, because something else started happening right at the end of 1939. In September 1939.
Started the World War II, yeah.
Nazi Germany invaded Poland. Could this have yanked national attention away from fantasy and into real trauma? Or maybe, like we said, maybe the Glawackus was a brown mangy dog that was killed. Or, I want to throw out a crazy theory, maybe the Glawackus got drafted. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I truly believe that people probably just had bigger, realer monsters to worry about. Monsters waging war and killing millions. Monsters that were about to change the course of history forever. Over the decades, the Glawackus drifted from newspaper panic into genuine folklore. Writers lumped it into America's fearsome creatures, tall tales like, the hodag, Bigfoot, and the jackalope. I want to just point out, though, some small sightings would reportedly pop up across the U.S., some in New England and some in the Midwest, but there was nothing with the substance of those sightings in 1939. It truly seemed like that if the Glawackus was real, it was like a one-season wonder. So that leaves us the question, what was the Glawackus? One of the most enduring theories is that people were actually seeing a mountain lion. But by early 1900s, they were considered completely removed from Connecticut, wiped out by hunting and habitat loss. But still, as we noted earlier, for decades, residents in Connecticut, New Hampshire, Vermont have been claiming to see sightings of big cats in the woods. So what do we make of this? Could it have been a mountain lion? I think possibly.
I know there's been animals that have been declared extinct, and then years later we'll find them.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible that mountain lions still roam this area, and they've just gone so far away from population, we thought they were gone.
I mean, I guess there's the possibility that could be creatures out there, but I'm leaning towards probably no. It's not a mountain lion.
All right. I think plausible. I think that, to me, plausible is where I'm going to go with that one.
That's where I'm going so far.
Yeah. Our next theory, what about a bobcat? Bobcats were and still are native to Connecticut. Unlike mountain lions, they were never fully wiped out of the region, though their numbers did dip significantly in the 1900s. By 1939, they were rare, but definitely still present. Even today, I'll see videos of bobcats in New England while scrolling through Reddit or looking up news on WMUR. Through research, I found out that adult bobcats can weigh between 15 and 35 pounds. They have tufted ears, short tails, about 6 inches or so, and have spotted molted fur. They're muscular, meaning that they can look much larger than they actually are, especially in fleeting, shadowy areas. But the short tail's the main problem here for me. Most of the Glawackus witnesses described a long tail, panther-like. That doesn't seem to add up to the bobcat. Also, I want to notate that bobcats supposedly are 2.5 to 3.5 feet long, not including the tail, and do stand about 1 to 2 feet off the ground. So those elements do in fact fit. So if you take the tail part out of consideration, the rest of it's kind of close. So maybe.
For me, a bobcat is very distinct looking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going to confuse that with a panther.
Yeah.
Maybe a dog.
Yeah.
Maybe a cat, but not with a panther or the way it was described.
Yeah.
Just the tail alone.
I agree.
And they described it as sleek.
Yeah.
I think of a bobcat as fluffy. It's got like the long hair.
I agree. I don't think a bobcat fits, but I do wonder, hysteria, does that warp what you're seeing maybe a little bit?
Maybe it's a bunch of different sightings of animals that get combined into one in them as hysteria.
Ooh.
Is that what you're thinking?
Chris, you're going to see where I'm going in a few minutes here, but we got a couple other theories before we get there. I think bobcat, though, Kathy, plausible, maybe? Yes? No?
No, probably unlikely.
All right. Unlikely, Chris?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. All right. The next theory I got here is a fisher cat. We kind of mentioned them a little bit earlier. What do you all know about fisher cats?
I've heard one. I've heard it. I've heard a fisher cat a couple times.
What did it sound like?
It just is like this, like screeching, kind of high pitched scream cry.
Yeah, it almost sounds like a baby crying, like like wailing, throwing a fit.
Yeah. And I think that's super interesting because to that point, fishers scream and they scream loudly, and their cries often occur during mating season. And they've been described as literally blood curdling has been descriptions of what they sound like. I've got people saying like you babies screaming in the woods, women screaming in the woods. And I think that's more than enough fuel to fuel a monster panic, right? If you hadn't heard that before. But interestingly though, fishers are weasel-like carnivores. Despite the name, they're not cats. Adult fisher cats measure 2 to 4 feet long. That matches. Weigh about 8 to 15 pounds. They're stocky, dark-furred, low to the ground, not exactly panther-like, but they have one big cryptid credential that we already covered. Their screams.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start thinking about could it have been a fisher cat, I don't know.
The noises definitely fit.
Yeah.
But then again, you're talking about farmers who have been there for generations, most likely.
Yeah.
And they don't know the difference between a fisher cat and something they can't describe.
Men have never been known to exaggerate the size of things before, so.
What are you talking about there?
I'm just saying.
No idea what you're talking about.
Are we talking about fish or penises? Because you're confusing me.
Whatever.
Well, if we continue moving on here quickly, just to wrap up here, we have some other theories. Could it have been a black bear? I'm not even going to read into that. I think that sounds ridiculous.
That's done,
That's definitely out for me. There was the official conclusion in 1939 that it was a dog.
Yeah, that one's out for me too.
That's out for me too. I find
too.
that one bullshit.
Yeah.
I just don't think that matches at all. There are theories out there that point to maybe some type of hybrid animal, and they point to like a cat-dog hybrid. And to that, I go, huh?
Yeah, I don't think that's how that
works. I don't
works.
think genetically you can do that. But I mean, hey, maybe there was some testing facility or something out there that mutilated some type of animal, was doing some tests on cloning or something. I don't know. Maybe we can't. I know, I'm starting to get out there. I'm reaching, but I think this is probably out too, but who knows? And then escaped exotic animal.
That's possible, right? They had traveling zoos back then, and if a zoo went defunct, what are they going to do with the animals? They're just going to release them in the woods.
Yeah. And to that point, I did find a animal called a jaguarundi. They are sleek, long tails, and come in either dark gray, black, or reddish brown. They're about 8 to 16 pounds, and they are very strange-looking creatures that look like very, very small cats. Not native around here, but I do think the long tail fits, sleek bodies, maybe it could have been something like that. I don't know.
4-inch paw prints, so
no, they don't.
Sound
they
like
don't
it
have
fits
that.
up.
Yeah, they don't sound like
that.
they get that big.
Yeah,
so.
they don't. And then we have 2 last theories here. A unique cryptid, which I think we can probably say maybe
it was Bigfoot.
Yeah, Bigfoot.
Bigfoot's
pet. Yeah, yeah. The Glawackus. Maybe it was a thing of its own, not a dog, not a bear, not a bobcat, something that really did scream in the woods that winter. Maybe something slipped in from another place, stayed just long enough to terrify a town, and vanished forever. At the end of the day, I guess you all get to decide. But what do I think? I think the Glawackus was probably a snapshot of small-town America on the brink of World War II. A moment when the country was hungry from distractions, where newspapers needed to sell a copy, and where fear in the dark could still spread faster than reason. For me, it probably was some kind of misidentified beast. Maybe it was a bobcat or a mountain lion that was spotted during the day several times, and those blood-curdling screams at night might have just been the local fisher cats that are echoing through. And maybe, Chris, you alluded to this earlier, maybe it's these 2 multiple sightings put together. Because if you think about it, you got yourself a fucking monster. But either way, for a few strange months in 1939, Connecticut had its very own legend, a beast that howled at night, spooked the children, filled the papers, and clawed its way forever into history. That's our story on the Glawackus.
I love that story. That was so good. I like it because you did such a nice job of painting where the country was at that moment. They were coming out of the Great Depression. World War II was going to start any day at that point, and people were on edge. They were scared. They needed something to distract them, something to blame, something to explain away their anxieties, and the newspaper gave it to them.
I agree. I think that it was probably just the newspaper coming up with a distraction, like, look over here, not over there, and the people just ate it up.
And what better way to keep the story going than to tell both sides and get people arguing about it and saying, yeah, no, this is a real thing. No, come on, this is just a story. It's made up. Yeah. And that'll keep people reading to see what's going to happen next.
And you always have people that want to become part of the story.
Oh, yeah.
So I think as far as like the claims of like, maybe even like the footprints, right? Like that could just be this guy making it up because like people do it all the time.
I'm giving the game warden some credence because that's his job and I'm assuming he takes it seriously. And
no, I mean, I mean, you'd like to think that, but people do crazy things.
Get in the paper, I'm famous,
You know?
I think dogs went missing, right? An animal in the woods probably got it. Their chickens probably were killed, but like it was probably just normal shit.
Yeah.
That was probably happening. Yeah. I don't know. I also think there's like an interesting parallel, and maybe we shouldn't get too deep on the podcast about this, but like media's influence on a population and all the pull that they actually do have on individuals' day-to-day lives. And I think there's some really interesting parallels onto exactly what's happening right now in society as a whole and all the different ways these influences are coming in.
You got to think, back in the day, the newspaper was the only real source of accurate news of what's going on in the world around you. You didn't have Instagram, you didn't have streaming apps or cable news.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being a journalist was considered like a respectable job.
Yeah.
It was
and your job was to get the facts straight.
Yes. Yeah. And you didn't publish a story unless you had your sources and you could back up your story, not like the Glawackus.
News today isn't news. It's more
clickbait.
It's opinions and stories, and it's more for entertainment than it really is to educate people today.
Yeah. Well, Kathy, Chris, I hope you enjoyed this story on the Glawackus.
Very much so. Very well done. I enjoyed that one.
Love it.
I love the name.
Yeah, I know. It's so good, right? And gang, we hope you loved it too. And if you did, make sure you go ahead and visit our Instagram at Weirder After Dark, where I'll go ahead and make sure that we post some images, some supporting evidence for this story. And trust me, y'all, I've got some fucking evidence. We pretty much got current articles for every day for a month. But don't forget too, we are also out there building some communities. So if you haven't taken the time yet to visit, what the fuck you doing? Why haven't you come to hang out with us? You can visit us at the Facebook, at the Reddit, at the Instagram. You can come talk to Kathy, Chris, and I, other people who loving this shit just like you. I don't know what accent I'm leaning into, but just come hang out with us.
Suddenly you became Italian.
That's it. And not only are we building communities out there for y'all to come hang out with us, but we are always, always, always on the hunt for your weird New England stories. Have you had your chickens absolutely torn apart by a mysterious animal? Hopefully not, because that's sad. Yeah. Have you seen weird things in the woods at night? Has the local social media brainwashed your brain to make you believe that animals and monsters are hunting you? If so, seek your local professionals. Do not send us that story. But if you want to send us that story, we'd love to have it. And you can send it to thegang@weirderafterdark.com. And we'll read one of your weird New England tales on one of our next future podcast episodes. And if you are loving this shit, if you are absolutely fucking digging this shit, the best thing you can do to help support us is to leave a 5-star review wherever you are listening and toss a comment on that puppy and tell the world how amazing we are. It would mean the world to us. And don't forget, it always gets a little weirder after dark.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.